The Maori, indigenous to Aotearoa New Zealand, have a pretty rich history, that stretches back over 1,000 years. But how did they even come to inhabit this land? Well, their story is one of exploration, resilience, and a deep connection to the land and sea. So how did it all start? The journey of the Maori began in the vast reaches of the Pacific Ocean, where their ancestors set out on a remarkable voyage. Imagine that, setting off into the unknown with nothing but the stars and the currents to guide you. These early navigators, using only the stars, ocean currents, and natural signs, set sail in large, sturdy waka canoes built to handle whatever the Pacific threw at them. After weeks, maybe even months at sea, they finally arrived in Aotearoa, a land unlike anything they'd ever seen before. They named this place Aotearoa, meaning land of the long white cloud, a name that really captured the beauty and mystery of their new home. As the Maori settled in Aotearoa, they started setting up communities across the island. These communities were closely tied to the land, and their way of life was deeply connected to the natural world around them. So, what kept these communities together? Well, their society was organized into iwi, or tribes, each with its own whakapapa, or genealogy, connecting everyone to their ancestors and the gods. Whakapapa was pretty much the backbone of Maori identity, linking people to their family, their tribe, and the land itself. It was through whakapapa that the Maori understood their place in the world and their responsibilities to each other and to the land. Now, when it comes to preserving knowledge, the Maori were onto it. They developed a rich oral tradition, passing down their history, myths, and lessons through stories told by word of mouth. Have you ever thought about how important stories are? For the Maori, these stories weren't just for fun. They were a way of keeping their knowledge alive and teaching important lessons about life, the environment, and the spiritual world. They believed that the land and all living things were infused with Māori, or life force, and that it was their job to care for and protect this Māori. This belief in the interconnectedness of everything shaped how they approached farming, fishing, warfare, and even diplomacy. The Maori were also pretty talented when it came to making things. They were skilled artisans, creating beautiful and functional works of art from the materials around them in Aotearoa. They carved intricate designs into wood, bone, and stone, making tools, weapons, and decorative items that weren't just useful but also packed with meaning. Each item was full of spiritual significance, reflecting the mana or power of its creator and its owner. Then, in the late 18th century, things started to change. European explorers began arriving in Aotearoa. How did these two cultures get on with each other? The first big encounter was in 1769 when Captain James Cook rocked up on the shores of Aotearoa. This was a game changer for the Maori, bringing both opportunities and challenges. The Europeans brought new technologies, foods, and goods, which the Maori were keen to get their hands on. But of course there was a downside, diseases that the Maori had never encountered, leading to devastating epidemics. As more Europeans arrived, tensions started bubbling up, especially over land. Why was land such a big deal? For the Maori, land was way more than just a place to live. It was a vital part of their identity and spiritual beliefs. These tensions eventually led to the signing of Treaty of Waitangi, or the Treaty of Waitangi, in 1840. The treaty was meant to set some ground rules for how things would work in Aotearoa and to protect the rights of the Maori. But, as you might guess, there were some pretty big misunderstandings over what the treaty actually meant, leading to disputes that had some serious consequences. So, what happened next? Well, those misunderstandings led to conflicts over land ownership and governance, which eventually kicked off the New Zealand land wars. These were battles fought between the Maori and British forces, along with settler militias. The land wars were a tough time for the Maori. Many iwi lost large chunks of their land either through government confiscation or forced sales. This loss of land had a huge impact on the Maori, messing with their traditional way of life and leading to widespread poverty and displacement. But you know what? The Maori didn't give up. How did they keep going? Despite all the hardships, the Maori showed incredible resilience. They kept fighting for their rights, holding on to their culture and traditions, even when things looked bleak. If you enjoyed this video, and for more like it, please subscribe and make sure you click the bell icon. This will keep you up to date with our latest videos as we attempt to dive deeper on some of the impacts European settlement has caused and how that might still be affecting these communities. Also, make sure to hit the like button, as for newer channels like our own, this makes a huge impact. So yeah, stick around and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.